Hello students. So we are studying robotics and artificial intelligence curriculum of the ICSE board, and today we will be talking about the class 10 syllabus on robotics. And as you can see, this is the entire syllabus. Now let me find out the class 10. So here it is. The part 1 is robotics, and I have already made several videos on chapter 1 new age robotic systems, then chapter 2 robots to cobots, and you see even we have videos on components of robots as a system, then integrating robots as a system. And today I'll be talking about visualization, design and creation of components. And as you can see, this is the entire syllabus of the ICSE board. Okay, so let's start. So you see, today we'll be talking about the architecture of motion. Basically, we will talk about designing and visualizing robots. Okay, as you can see, this is an industrial robot, and we will talk about the various principles required to understand them. Okay, so let's start with imagination. Right now, think of mechanical blocks. You see, robots have various components, but to understand them, let's first think of the mechanical blocks, which are the basic building pieces of a robot. And this is very much similar to how Lego bricks work together to build something amazing. You know, they are the basically physical parts that allow a robot to move and function. And today I'll try to help you understand how to design and visualize these parts using Tinkercad, and I'll make a separate video on Tinkercad itself, but we'll be talking about it quite briefly today. And we will break down into simple, easy to understand concepts. So the first thing is, how do we give an idea structure, and how do we give that structure the gift of movement? See, so here you can see a human dancer. And so what if I want to make a robot which will imitate this human dancer? So if I have to build such a robot, then I have to understand that unlike any other robot, this robot is also built of 4 key mechanical components. Now first one is the link, which is the rigid parts like arms or legs, okay, that connect different sections. Next we have got the joints, okay, the joints, the connections between the link that allow movement like the elbow or the knee, okay, elbow or the knee. And then we have the motors or actuators, which is what? Muscles, my dear students, which provide the power to make the parts move. And finally, we have the end effector, which is the hand of a robot that does the actual work, like a gripper or a tool. See this picture, this is the end effector, the hand of the robot. Okay, good. So now let's move forward. So what about the grammar of movement? You see, joints are super important. Why? Because they determine how your robot can move, and they are the fundamental rules that define the potential for movement, how the movement will be. Will it be rotational type, will it be translational type, or linear type, right, or vibrational type? Just as you see grammar structures language, similarly joint structure movement. And now we will explore 2 most fundamental types. Okay, you see, the first is the revolute joint, which is a world in rotation. Effectively, if we talk about definition, it's a joint that rotates around a single axis, just like a hinge on a door. See the artisan trying to make a mud pot, just like this point, there is rotation. Now how it works, you try to imagine drawing a circle with a compass and the pencil rotates, right? around the fixed point. That's exactly how a revolute joint works. And we can have several real life examples like your elbow joint, a door hinge, the joints in a robotic arm that allow it to rotate. Just like this can rotate, this arm can rotate. Okay, good. So, they have great uses in robots. They are used mainly for circular or rotational movement, like a robot arm rotating to reach different positions. Okay, the next is the prismatic joint, which is effectively movement in a straight line, linear motion, right? So it's basically a joint that moves in a straight line. See, there is a motion, straight line motion, like this, like a drawer sliding in or out. How it works? You can think of it as a train moving along straight tracks, and it can only move forward or backward in one direction. And what about real life examples? Well, of course, we have a drawer opening and closing, again a telescope extending, an elevator moving up and down, you name it. And of course, definitely they have these prismatic joints have used in robots. They are used when you need straight line movement, like a robot gripper extending to grab an object. Okay, so let's see over here. So if there is something like this over here, this can extend. This part, this can extend. Then this entire section will come forward and the robot can pick something over here. Something like that. Okay. The next concept is that of composing motion. We have talked about linear and rotational motion. Now we will talk about the RR mechanism. So what's it? It's basically, you see, the RR stands for revolute. It's a mechanism made of two revolute, that is rotating joints, which are connected together. Okay, they both rotate. And simple explanation, you can think of your own arm. Come on, you have a shoulder joint and an elbow joint. You see, both rotate, and together a miracle happens. Yes, together they let you reach many different places. That's the magic of the RR mechanism. Okay, so why it's important? Great, you just feel it. Try to feel it yourself. This mechanism basically creates flexible movement and allows robots to reach objects at different positions. And this forms the basis of many robotic arms, like the one we have here. Okay, so next concept is your digital sandbox, where you design with Tinkercad. You see, this is entirely you are trying to design using a software known as Tinkercad. It's basically, first of all, it's free online 3D design tool, and it lets you create virtual models of objects, and that includes robotic parts, so you can be your own little engineer. Okay, you don't have to buy the components. First, you just try to imagine, okay, and try to make it using Tinkercad. So why use it? Definitely, it's very much easy to learn. You just have to drag something from here, put over there, and then you can play with your shapes. You can even merge the different shapes together and make a compound complex shape. Okay, and see your designs in 3D before building them. Not only that, you can even test parts move together like this. Here you can think about the rotation, you can visualize it. Okay, and also you can make changes quickly without wasting materials. So this is how, my dear students, scientists work. Scientists and engineers, before designing a prototype, okay, first whenever we have to design something, maybe several robots of the same type, first we design a prototype. And even before designing the prototype, first we have to do a simulation and modeling, And this is what you are doing over here. So you are trying to understand the entire thing digitally, how it works, how it happens. Then you think of the different components, and after that you manufacture the prototype. And if you are satisfied, and if you are not, then you make the changes, and then finally you go for the production. Okay, that's how things work. Okay, let's now talk about the designer's workflow, which is basically a 5-step process. Okay, the first is to visualize. That's very important. You have to imagine what you want your robot to do. And next is the planning stage. You have to decide which joints and links you need. And after that, you start creating. You build each component in Tinkercad. And then try to assemble, connect the parts together. And then finally you can test the motion. See how your design moves. And remember, let me give you some of the tips for success, sure shot success. First is always start simple. That's very important. Don't try to build everything at once. In steps, try to make things. Okay, think about what movement you need, whether it's rotating or sliding. That's very important. You also make sure that parts can actually connect and move. Connection is important. And then finally, test frequently to catch problems early. So you see, let's talk about visualizing motion. That means seeing your creation come to life. So why visualize? You might think. Well, you see, before building a real robot, as I have already mentioned, you need to make sure that your design actually works. Okay. And for that, you need Tinkercad. And this free software is a very amazing software. It lets you simulate. What simulate? Basically, pretend to run your robot's movement. And what can you check? First thing, do the joints move smoothly or not? Can the robot reach where it needs to? And what are the various components you need for that operation? Or your robot, what are the different types of operations it can do? Do any parts bump into each other? Then you have to think about modifications. The sizes of the parts. There are so many technical details. And it's amazing that even before making that stuff physically, you can just try and test it out using Tinkercad. Again, does the movement make sense? Is the robot trying to make the movement that you actually desire, or it is making something else? Unnecessary movements. What can you do to stop it? Okay, something like that. Now, so how to visualize motion in Tinkercad? You have to create your components with joints. Use the animation or simulate feature you will find over here. And then watch how parts move when joints rotate or slide, and then finally make adjustments if something doesn't work right. Now, let me talk about the designer's lexicon, or some of the important key terms. This is important for your exam as well. So what's a component? It's a single part of a robot. Mechanism basically means a system of parts working together to create movement. Axis is an imaginary line along which something rotates. Okay, that's axis. And simulation is effectively to test something virtually. You are not really doing it, but you are testing it digitally on a computer before building it. And then we have got a 3D model, which is basically a digital version of an object which you can view from the various angles. And this way you will be able to rectify if there are certain irregularities. Okay, you will be able to find out whether your model actually works. This will help you with that, the 3D model. So the rule is practice and create, my dear students. Let's start with activity 1, which is effectively identifying the joints. Now, just look around your home and try to find 3 examples, each for revolute joints, that is, things that rotate, and prismatic joints like things that slide. Then think of activity 2, which is a design challenge, where you try designing a simple robot arm in Tinkercad with one revolute joint at the base, that's shoulder, and one revolute joint at the middle elbow. And then finally, we have activity 3, where we do motion testing. Basically, after creating your design, try to visualize its motion and answer. How far can it reach? The distance covered. What positions can it access? And what can your robot be used for? Real life applications. Think of it. What is useful? Is there any real use for it? Can it really help a person? Okay, think about it. So, your journey is the design and it has already started. I can feel you students thinking about the various steps I have talked about, right? That's it. You have started the process. Some of the guiding principles is, you remember the goal is to understand how robots move and also why certain joints are chosen. Remember, which I have been repeatedly telling you, you have to start simple and gradually make your designs more complex. Remember, every mistake is a learning opportunity. So don't fear. You will make mistake. Come on. Every human being makes mistake. I have made so many mistakes in my life. But the important thing is that I have learned from it. Okay. And it has really helped me become what I am today. The same is true for your parents, you name it, everybody out there. So that's why we have to design virtually first so that we don't make real life mistakes with the components. So try to be extra careful. So, my dear students, again I welcome you all to robotics, where you will have a great time with creativity, problem solving, and great fun with learning. Take your time with Tinkercad, experiment with various designs, and don't be afraid of trying new things. So, wish you good luck with your robotics journey.